What's up, everybody? This video is a little bit well, it's actually very different than any of my other videos. I wanted to share with you guys some of this like weird journey that I've been on. In the past 3 months, what I've done. So let me go back. I went to the doctor back in October, and the doctor went through my blood work and was like, "Hey, your cholesterol is high, and it's consistently stayed high the past few times we checked it. We need to do something about that." And he wanted me to go on medicine, and I really did not like that. When he told me that, I was immediately defiant. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Not like right to him, but in my mind, I was like, nah, this is not happening. Because he told me, he's like, this is like a permanent thing. Like, I asked him, I was like, am I going to come off of this anytime soon? And he's like, no. That really was like, oh crap, you've got to do something. So that was in October. And fast forward through the holidays and everything, and I had done some research on certain diets and different things that I wanted to try, and I landed on the carnivore diet. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, that's the dumbest thing you can do. Well, we're going to go over this, because this is, a lot of this stuff, it was really, really crazy and eye-opening to me. So, I don't know the exact date. I know it was, at the end of February, or sometime in February, I started the carnivore diet. And what I did is I just bought these like chuck ends from Sam's and started doing that. And I bought eggs. I was eating eggs constantly, eating steak constantly, chicken every now and then, pork every now and then, just kind of switching it up so I didn't get burnt out eating the same thing every day. And so I started doing that, and what I started noticing was that I started losing weight. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. You know, I was doing a little bit of cardio and exercise, not much, just a little bit. And so doing that, I started losing weight, and which in my mind, I was like, oh my God, okay. Because my weight when I started was, I don't know the exact weight, but I know it was around 195. And my doctor, I'll put that up on the screen and show you guys my little visit summary after I went to the doctor in October. My weight was 190. And then my blood pressure, let me find it. Hold on. My blood pressure was 131/83. And my pulse was 76. I don't know how much that is going to factor into this, because I mean, I really don't know a lot at all in general, much less about any of this, any medical stuff. So anyway, that was what I was. That's where I was in October. Did the diet. Flash forward to today, which is May 15th. Today is May 15th. I weighed in at 173.4 this morning. Okay. So if I'm saying that I started at 195, it's because after that was the holidays. I probably ate a bunch of trash. Into January, probably ate a bunch of trash. And, you know, I was drinking here and there on the weekends. So when I started the diet, I immediately stopped drinking. It would be like one drink a week, and that was about it. If I drank during that week, it really wasn't. I didn't really crave it. I didn't miss it when I stopped. But anyway, I started the diet, and I was fairly strict on it. There's a few things that I ate, you know, like if I wanted something sweet, like I'd eat fruit. But you know, I was still eating the steak and eggs or meat and eggs constantly. Anyway, So flash forward today, like I said, I'm 173.4, I think is what I said, this morning. And when I checked my blood pressure the last time, it was 109/73. Okay? Take into account that it was 131/83, and now it's 109/7. It was 131/83, and now it's 109/73. So it dropped a lot. Now, the previous time, before my doctor wanted to put me on cholesterol medicine, he had me on blood pressure medicine. And it made me feel a little weird, so I stopped taking it, let him know about it, and he kind of was like, okay, well, your blood pressure's not really crazy high, so there's no real need for it. It's just to kind of help you. It is a very small dosage, but anyway, it made me feel kind of weird, and I didn't like it. So I came off of that, and so now my blood pressure is super good. It's super good. And my weight is super good. So this past week, I went and got blood work done. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, the results were not what I was expecting. I was expecting to have be blown away by the results. Like everything was going to be way down. I was going to be in the green and everything. But this is what happened. So when I the last time I had blood work done, it was not in October, it was before that, but we discussed it in October. It's weird. I don't know why we did it like that. But anyway, so we actually did it in July of last year is when I did the actual blood work. And then I did blood work on the 13th of May of this year. So when I went in, I'll put it up on the screen too. When I went in July, my triglycerides were, and you can see it there, it was 198 is in the high. My HDL was on the lower side at 43. My very low density lipid was at 37. It was outside the high range, or outside just high a little bit. Cholesterol was up to 246, which is high. The LDL calculation is 166 is high, and my non-HDL cholesterol was 203 is high. So, got my blood work done. And this was, like I said, this was on the 13th of May, this year. Triglycerides, compared to last time, they're now 106. They were 198. Dropped significantly. I mean, that feels like that's significant to me. It's in the green. Perfect. HDL has gone up from 43 to 47, which I feel like that's a little bit further in the middle of the range. That's pretty good. My very low density lipid dropped from 37 to 19. I feel like that's pretty good. We're in the green there. It's good. Here's where it gets bad. Cholesterol went from 246 up to 290. Okay, so it jumped a good bit. The LDL calculation jumped from 166 to 224, and my non-HDL cholesterol went from 203 to 243. So those went up a fair amount, I feel like, and that was not what I was hoping for. I was really hoping for a lot better results. It sucks because I feel amazing. It's so crazy to me. Like, it was like the third day in on this diet, and I woke up and I was like, I don't feel groggy. I went through the whole day, and I was like, I drank coffee, but I was like, I'm not tired. Like 2 o'clock in the afternoon rolled around, and I'm like, I'm jacked. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm good. All day long I was like that, and I was like, okay. And then it kept happening. Every day I'd wake up, and I was like, okay, I feel great. I don't feel like, God, I can just go back to sleep right now and just sleep for 3 more hours. No, I felt great when I woke up. I felt like I slept the whole night. So I don't understand. Like, I understand, like, I lost weight and my blood pressure and stuff came down, but I felt like in my mind that there was a lot better results, or I was gonna have a lot better results, but I didn't. So it's not looking good for when I go to the doctor next week to discuss this with him. But I started doing some more research, and trying to figure out like what I could have done differently. And what I found out was I was a little too strict on it. Even though I ate a few things here and there that I wasn't supposed to, like, you know, fruits and stuff like that, and regular meals every now and then. One thing that I was doing was being a little strict on like animal products when it comes to the carnivore diet. So I was using butter to cook eggs, to cook steak, like, you know, not a crazy amount of butter, but I was still using butter. I was eating between 3 and 6 eggs a day. So like I'd eat my steak at lunch, and I'd have 2 boiled eggs in the morning before I ate lunch, you know, like around 9 o'clock or so. And then at night, like if I didn't feel like eating steak, or, you know, just switching it up from whatever I felt like doing, I'd probably eat like 4 eggs. I was like, oh, I'll save the steak for tomorrow, so I have like stretch out my lunches a lot more. I had a lot of eggs, so I could eat, you know, I could eat them, and I didn't want them to go bad, so I was like, okay, I'll just eat eggs. And I was eating the whites, the yolk, everything. And which I've always heard about the bad cholesterol in the yolks, and, you know, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm on this. It's gonna drop down. It didn't, and I feel like there's a couple factors on why that went up, and I didn't get any improvement in that area. So one obviously is cooking in butter constantly. I stopped that. I stopped cooking in butter, and I started cooking in olive oil. It's like extra virgin olive oil. So that I feel like is going to be a little bit better. And I've started just eating the egg whites, which sucks because I feel like I'm wasting the egg yolks. I'm going to try to figure out a way to save them for like my wife to do something with, or, you know, my daughter likes them, or whatever we can do with them. I don't want to just waste the yolks, obviously, because of egg prices and all that, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to have to make a few changes. Like I said, the butter, the olive oil, and then I'm going to have to eat some other vegetables. The little bit of the research that I did talked about non-starchy vegetables would be better. So like mushrooms, a suggestion was arugula and spinach. I don't really have a problem eating any of those. So I did buy some mushrooms yesterday. I'm going to go cook those here in a little bit, and that way I can start getting on track with what I want to do with this diet, which is add a few little things here to tweak it and continue on. However, when I go to the doctor next week, I just know he's going to be like, I know you didn't do what I asked you to do. I know you didn't take the medicine that I prescribed to you. You should have taken the medicine. And part of me is like, yeah, I understand that. But part of me is like, I feel like I can do this without medicine. And I don't want to get into a situation where I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to have a heart attack. Like, I don't want to get into those levels. But I want to challenge myself. I feel like I did amazing challenging myself to this diet and sticking with it for 3 months. That I've never done that ever in my life. I've always just ate whatever. And it wasn't until probably like 5 or 6 years ago that I started like really putting on weight, and, you know, started having like a beer belly, and like you could like definitely see it like underneath my eyes and everything. Like my face is skinnier, and like things fit way better now. So I got my weight where about where I want it. But I feel like he's going to be like, you got to go on cholesterol medicine. And I just want to, I'm probably going to ask him like, look, can you just give me like another month or two? Let me see how these tweaks do. And let's then take some more blood work and see. And a month might be long enough. I don't know. Might have to do like 3 months. I don't know. I don't know how quickly your cholesterol can change and how drastically it can change over a month or however many weeks, whatever. But I want to try to see this experiment all the way through. If I can tweak it and it works, I am so stoked. yeah, I want to know if I change that just a little bit, if it'll make a huge change. Because I feel like I'm on the right track. I feel like I'm on a very good track on some things, and other things I just kind of screwed up on. And it's stupid little things like, butter and the eggs. But another thing, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. Another thing was the cut of meat I was eating. What I was getting was a chuck roll, and shout out to Ben Giles. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I started watching a lot of his videos on Instagram about his carnivore diet journey, and he gets a chuck roll. And he can get a chuck roll at Sam's. Here where I live, you get a chuck end at Sam's. I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, I was doing that, and so one thing I found out was I needed to get a leaner cut of meat. So the best one that I found when I did my research was top sirloin. Now, top sirloin is more expensive per pound, and when I bought the top sirloin, I forget how many pounds it was, but it ended up being like $131 for this top sirloin. I brought it home, cut as much fat, because it has like a little fat cap on it or whatever. Cut as much fat off of it as I could, and cooked that. The chuck roll was way more difficult to get the fat off of. There's like fat woven in. There's like a lot of connective tissue and a lot of fat, and it was kind of a tough task trying to get all that fat off. Anyway, top sirloin was super easy. It separated really easy. Like, there's nothing to it. So I did make that other change too, and I'm also gonna add some more chicken and some pork and a few things like that, and less fatty items to my diet, and just see how things go. I really want to see this out. Like, I noticed a lot of changes in my body, in my mind. I'm super clear. Oh, this is crazy. I didn't want to forget this. So I forget exactly how long it took for this to start. And I think I've heard some other people talk about this, about having some of the same experiences. I didn't have the bathroom stuff that a lot of other people did. But my dreams are freaking crazy. Okay? I dream almost every single night now. And it's super vivid. It's super vivid, and I can remember pretty much every aspect of the dream. The way the dreams, like, I can change in and out. Like, if I go from one thing to another thing, like, I remember that. Like, I remember what the first thing was. I used to never do that. It would hit me like, 7 or 8 hours later. I'm like, holy crap, I dreamed about something crazy last night. What was it? Or I dreamed about this. It would come back to me. When I dream it and I wake up, I remember all of it, and it's wild shit. I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody can explain it to me why that is, but it's crazy. I was super super surprised, and like this one was weird. Okay, this one really tripped me out a little bit. Okay, the other night I went to bed, and I was having a dream that we were in our house, and it was storming like crazy. Lightning was hitting trees outside. Like the trees around our house were totally different. But like, it was the same house, just a little bit different layout on the inside. It was just kind of weirdly done, but it was the same house. And then like the yard is a little bit different. And I remember looking out, and like I was like, whatever, it's storming, lightning's hitting trees, and I like storms. Anyway, wife's freaking out in the dream. I'm watching the storm, and I'm watching like wood shrapnel like fly around and stuff when this lightning's hitting, and it's popping like crazy. So I don't know how long this goes on. It seems like it goes on for quite a while. Then lightning hits outside my house, like not like directly outside my house where it like does something crazy and like makes the lights flicker or anything like that. But it hit close enough where it was a loud boom. Like it was like a crack, second, boom. Like it was pretty close, but not too close. And it woke me and the dogs up and my wife up and everybody's going crazy. It was so weird that it was storming like crazy in my dream, and then it was actually storming. I don't know if I was like, oh, maybe, I knew there was a storm coming or something like that, but it was so weird that occurred and it woke me up like that. So I don't know what that means. I've had a couple storm dreams. I've had a couple dreams where I was in a crazy like tornado, and then like I actually woke up from this dream. Not like I was like woke up like I was scared. I just happened to wake up like, I don't know if I got like the dogs were moving around or something woke me up. But I was like, I really want to know what happened in that dream. I want to know what ultimately happened. Like I want to go back in. Kind of like you want to go back into the Matrix. And I was able to, it took me a little bit, but I went back to sleep and I was able to go back into that dream in the exact same place I was and finish the dream. I've never done that in my entire life. It's so freaking weird. I loved it. Like, it wasn't scary. It wasn't anything like I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I've been in a freaking tornado dream. But it was so cool. And I remember I remember every part of it, and I still cannot figure out why I was having crazy dreams like that and how I was able to go back in. But anyway, so all this to say, I don't know fully what my plan is going forward with this diet. It's gonna all kind of depend on what the doctor tells me. If he's like, hey, you're borderline having a heart attack and dying, then I'm gonna have to do something. I really have to do something to get my cholesterol down. But if he's gracious enough to, like, I don't know if he's not gonna force me to take the medicine, but if he's gracious enough to be like, look, we'll let you run this experiment out if you want to, that's fine. Just know we need to do something if this doesn't work. I'm hoping that's what he says. I really hope he's on board with this, because I feel like I got something here. I feel like we've got just a little bit of something, and I just want to take it and run with it just a little bit longer. My wife's worried to death that I'm just gonna keel over, I think. Which, I mean, it's very possible. I could keel over in 20 minutes when I do this video, but you never know. But I really want to see if I can get the levels down without having to go on medicine. I've not taken any medicine in a long time. I'm not on anything right now as far as prescriptions. He prescribed me that one for cholesterol, and I didn't take a single pill of it. That was back in October, which, I mean, that's probably a dumb move on my part. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to light me up and be like, you're stupid, you're going to die, your cholesterol is super high, you need to think of your family. I am thinking of my family because I want to try something that makes me feel really good, helps me lose weight. And if this diet is a way for me to do that, I want to keep trying it. Now, I know from what you guys have seen at these levels, it doesn't look like it's working. But there's something working. This is not no diet is a one size fits all. And from what I've read, and I cannot remember the doctor's name, but he was talking about this diet and that there's a third of people who will see a drastic change in the positive direction that they want to go in, and a third of people will stay about the same, and another third of people will see something going into the negative direction of what they've done. I feel like I'm somewhere on both wings of that, because I did see some good results, and I also saw some bad results. I don't know what to make of that. So, like I said, we're gonna keep trying. I don't know what this means fully yet. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to try it and see. but I wanted to give you guys an update on this because I'm going to kind of document this as I go a little bit more. I wanted to get this blood work back before I started documenting it. Because if it didn't work at all, like if it didn't change anything, if I was like way worse off, I was just like, okay, we're done, we're stopping this, and I'm not even going to try. But now that there's a little bit of good and a little bit of bad, like I want to see if I can get that bad down and keep the good up. And I don't know, we'll see. Like I said earlier, Ben Giles, huge shout out to him because his videos are awesome, and I learned a lot from him. And I learned a lot from just doing my own research, a lot of different articles, a lot of different videos. But yeah, so we're gonna keep trying this out, see how it goes, and I'll let you guys know. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you guys actually stuck around for this long. Yeah, I don't make a lot of these videos because I don't have a lot of time. This video is already like 20, it's almost 30 minutes long right now. So a lot of this is gonna get cut, but I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys following the channel, watching my streams, no matter how bad they are and how horrible I am at playing video games. Thank you guys. But yeah, we're just stick around. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna stick with it for as long as I can. I don't really know what else to say. Anyway, thank you guys.